How's it going, everyone? Back with another deck profile. Really interesting deck. It is super fun. I am not sure how competitive it can be. I've put a fair bit into work into taking it as far as I think it can go. It does a lot of really unfair things. The issue is, you'll already know from the title, but it's Therion P.U.N.K. The issue this deck has is that you're relying on two separate engines, which is kind of patched over by the P.U.N.Ks being able to deep draw into it, or at least access boss monsters, which give you part of your Therion combo line. Now, that's all absolutely fine, but it does kind of make it somewhat play second fiddle to Gold Pride P.U.N.K, which has two very competent engines that can stand on their own, and their extra deck facilitates just bridging clean into another half of the deck, not half of it, half of your combo. So, get it started off with the Amin, normal summon this, or special it. If you manage to do so, you can actually run through this entire engine without committing to your normal. You can do all your plays, no normal, if things really work out for you. More often than not, it's not the case. But either way, pay 600 life points. All the little P.U.N.Ks pay 600 to do a thing. This one searches another P.U.N.K. More of a niche effect that rarely to never comes up if it's sent to the graveyard, usually for the synchro summon of one of your P.U.N.Ks or for the fusion summon. It can give them an amount of attack boost. It's rarely to never relevant, and if you come up to that situation, it's 600. Go figure. This deck likes 600s. Just read the card in that instance. Like, just be aware that it does that thing, and then just double check it. Play your lines around it. You'll know it'll be on the field in front of you. So, we follow that up with Foxy Tune, which you can either discard this and one other card. A loaded grave is not a bad thing in this deck, depending on your hand. A lot of stuff in this is hand dependent, but discard this and another card to just e-telly out a monster from deck. It's pretty nice. So typically you are normalling Amin, searching Foxy Tune, pitching it with something else to special out another P.U.N.K, whichever you need in your line, depending on what hand you've got. The other thing it can do is tribute a P.U.N.K to special summon itself onto the field. Then it has some battle effects. Again, rarely to never comes up. Just read the card. You're using this to make things more than you are ever using it as a beater with like 200-300 attack. Might be a modulation. Ghost Ogre has the same second effect where it can tribute one of your P.U.N.K monsters to special summon itself. But this one you can just discard just itself to search P.U.N.K. It does add a bit of consistency. It's also an 8. Both of these are 8s, which is pretty good in this deck. You rarely to never use the battle effects. You sometimes use the special effects to pivot in your extra deck, and you tend to use the searching a lot more. But just don't neglect it, because if you can push for lethal with them, like, be aware that it's a thing that they can do. Dino. A lot of people have been playing this at 2 in this deck from the research that I did leading up to it. I still like it at 1. I like a condensed P.U.N.K engine because I want to burn through it as much as I can, as quickly as I can, so I'm not dead drawing and risking not getting into the other half of my engine. The issue with that is it takes away a little bit of grind. I hate to break it to you, this deck isn't grinding. If you end up in a grind situation with this, against a deck that also doesn't just burn out after your big play, you're done. You're kind of done your rings. You can get into grindy states with your big unfair boss monsters, but that's a little different, where you're trying to kind of counterplay and make sure that they don't get outed. By and large, if you need your in-engine, you're only going through it once. So anyway, Dino. You're normally telling this out of deck using Rising Carp, which you can see over here. You bring this out with another P.U.N.K, synchro it off, make plays. But the big thing with this is it reborns. It does also have a hand summon effect, so it's not totally dead in the instance you draw it. You can pick this and another P.U.N.K card in your hand, discard one, special summon the other. So it doesn't suck in hand. We would really rather it not be in hand, though. And yeah, this tends to be the standard P.U.N.K engine, as far as I'm aware. Sharakusai, pay 600, fusion summon a fusion. Rising Carp needs 2 P.U.N.Ks. Enables combo. We'll get to Rising Carp. Wagon, pay 600. Grab. It's literally the field spell, but you can grab any P.U.N.K spell. I only play the field spell. Madam Spider does the same for a trap. A lot of this you're kind of getting double advantage off because of the field spell itself, which is Dram Extreme Session. If a psychic monster pays up to 3 times per turn, you can draw a card. So you can draw 3 off this. Assuming you're making those payments for effects. It's incredibly good. I would say it's probably the best card in the engine, and it is the only reason this build works. It's very accessible. You only need 1. You don't need to start faffing about with like 3 of them and a terraforming. It's fine. You are going to more than likely get this, and if you don't, you'll still be able to put some scary stuff up. But this really does kind of make the whole deck go round. The other thing is it extends your P.U.N.K lines by giving you the option of banishing a P.U.N.K engrave to special summon 1 in hand. Now, that gives you a lot of options for synchro plays, XE's plays. Yeah, it's solid. Gabu, searchable Imperm. Imperm's pretty nice. The big thing that you want to be doing, though, is paying that 600 to get an Imperm and a search. Basically turning this into pretty much like an engage kind of vibe. 3 emergency teleport. We all know what it does. You're throwing one of your level 3 P.U.N.Ks out to get your play started. And that's the P.U.N.K engine. It's kind of standard. Some people drop an Ogre, some people add a Dino. I kind of like this and have been playing this way for a good bit, and I would recommend giving it a go, but obviously if you want to make any adjustments, do so. The Therions, right, we will kind of go with in order of relevance. Therions all give an effect to what they're equipped to, or have an effect. They can all be special summoned by picking one of their type out of the grave, equipping it to them, and then special summoning themselves from hand. The way that I just structured that sentence is absolutely awful, but you get what I mean. So Reaper, I believe, is a compulse by effect. Importantly, it is a 7. 7 and 3 makes 10. We'll get to that later. Bull is a pop. It's also a 7. 7 and 3 makes 10. We're going to get to that later, and you probably already know. But notably, if you are equipping Bull or Reaper to another Therion, because you've got more than one on the field going on, typically you probably don't want it, because you want to make them into bigger, nastier boss monsters, but they're still kind of chunky. You can send either an Equip or a Therion to grave and either compulse something or pop something. Duke is slightly different in this deck. So it is an 8, which beneficial for this deck. It is the only Therion in the deck that can summon itself, make plays with it, get itself into the grave, and then unlock your Therion engine. That is because all the P.U.N.Ks are psychics, and the P.U.N.K engine is super consistent. So that's the reason for this. Therion monsters equipped to it can't be destroyed. With it equipped, can't be destroyed either. So you can have this is kind of your optimal Regulus. You'll have a Regulus with a Duke equipped. It can't be destroyed. So, like, say they want to just be like, well, I just need to out your Regulus so I can start trying to sort out those big unaffected dickheads that you've put up. They're going to Dark Hole it or Raigeki it or Lightning Storm it, and you're just like, no. Read Duke, because no one's read Duke. Yeah. Empress, it can further your combo, so you can send one to grave to special one out to the front, and then, you know, it kind of can come up. All of the Therions, you need to send another, either a Therion monster or an equip, or, you know, to grave in order to trigger their effects, which is fine, you do plus off it. But yeah, this one can kind of get you an additional body to do more things. Everything is trying to get Lily, because Lily gets Discworld, which gets Regulus. Everything just works to get Regulus, because Omni Negates are very nice. And along the ways, you want to be making some unfair stuff, and probably some other Omnis. Lily is, importantly, a plant. That will come up later. Basically, if Lily is equipped, or Lily is the monster you summon, send a Therion, search a... It may well be a Therion spell, but we only play the one. Yeah, spell or trap from your deck to your hand. We are only playing Discolosseum because Endless is not. Regulus, same deal as all the other Therions, except it's an Omni Negate, so it's the best one. So it's the one we want on our end board. Endless Engine, it's a nice little one-of. You can just send a Therion from your deck to the graveyard, which gives you access to it if you've got another in your hand. And then on the following turn, this one always trips me up. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Therion card in your graveyard. If both are still in the graveyard, add either that card or this card to your hand. And if you do, place the other on the bottom of your deck. You can only use one effect of this card per turn, and only once this turn. So typically, if you open it, or if you get into it off draws, you're just using it to dump a Therion to grave. Discolosseum has a lot of text on that no one ever reads. So I will actually read this out. Most importantly, when you activate it, it's one of those good old field spells that just adds one of the cards of its type to hand. Just gives you access to the engine, but you do need setup. So, when this card is activated, you can add one Therion monster from your deck to your hand. Full stop. That's where everyone stops reading. But once per turn, if your monster would be destroyed by battle, you can send a Therion card or an Endless Aguero system. I am not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Agro system, whatever. From your deck to the graveyard instead, so it gives you a bit of protection. Once per turn, when a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target a Therion monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only activate one Discolosseum per turn. So it's one of those weird little niche effects that, like, everyone's like, that's garbage and I don't care, so I'm not bothering about it. And then they just don't get the damage down that they needed to get down, and they don't out the thing they needed to out. It's pretty good. So notably, like, if someone is aware of the engine, they need to go really out of their way to out a Regulus, because like they're like, well, like, it can't be destroyed by card effect. Okay, so I either have to destroy the Duke by card effect and then the Regulus, or I have to just crash over it. And if they didn't read Discolosseum, that isn't going to work either. So then what are they going to do? They've got to pivot into something to, like, send it or spin it, or like, it's little things where people just get caught out because the engine is never played as full as it was probably intended, because it's normally just there to chuck out Regulus in machine decks, or use Lily to chuck out Regulus in plant decks. Either way, we don't like being hand trapped. This deck is fragile. Like, tempering some expectations, going uninterrupted, it does some crazy stuff if you've got a nice consistent hand. But this is kind of needed. Same with the Crossout. You are particularly kind of scared of like Droll, Nib. You can probably eat a singular interruption or two for something that just trades for a search or pops. But by and large, your big sweepers will probably just end you. You can put stuff up early that's really obnoxious, that is really hard to address, but, you know, it has its weaknesses. Otherwise, it'd be in top cuts everywhere. Ghost Ogre, you only need it at 1. It's very searchable because it is a level 3 psychic. It's fine. You can even do weird stuff. 5-head it. Set an E-Telly if you really didn't need it, but you couldn't go through your usual line search its hand. Flip that, special its field. Ghost Ogre's effect can work from field, which is pretty nice. So it can just add another disruption. There's a lot of ways to use it, and for none of them do you really need 3. Ash Blossom, I don't know what to tell you. I hate Branded. I just hate Branded. It's also pretty good in general, though. The Droll, I'm early format. I think we're out of Droll format. The other 2 would be in the side. Your mileage can kind of vary on this. But yeah, just a Droll target for the crossouts, because we don't want that, because we want to keep drawing. Nibiru, I'm playing 2 because this causes such a headache, because you can't just consistently put up a negate and have your cake and eat it and finish your board, that like I just don't want that decision tree. If I draw a crossout, I don't want to be scared of it. If I draw a crossout, a nib, and a decent starter, I still don't want to be scared of it. So that's why there's 2. It's that kind of Garnet theory. And 3 Imperm, because what can I say? It's the best targeted negate. So that is the deck. As for the extra deck, Rising Carp gets summoned by Sharakusai, tribute Rising Carp, summon two punks from your deck, because that's chill, as if having, I've lost count of how many tellies was fair. Usually you are synchroing into an 8 using a 3 and a Dano. Of course, after using the 3's effect to trigger your draw, the options for that are Jam Dragon Drive on summon. It'll search you a psychic. It does some recursion stuff as well, but honestly, we're kind of getting deep on the tank there. It's not proactive recursion, as far as I'm aware. I'm just going to double check and fact check myself. Tom, play some elevator music or something. If this card is special, someone by the time and or send it to the graveyard. You can foolish whatever you search, which I guess could come up, but probably won't. If your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your P.U.N.K card's effect activation while this is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, and it's an 8. So I guess that's way more relevant than I gave it credit for. Menacing Mantis, all you are doing with this is dumping Lily Borea from deck. That's if you've got access to a Synchro 8. Melee of the Trees is doing the exact same thing if you've got access to an XYZ 3. This card came what? I was unimpressed with that. But yeah, that's a teaser for another video that's probably coming up, where we actually show people how to package cards. I'd have thought it'd have been self-explanatory. Apparently not. Anyway, I'll get back on topic. Sargus, it searches a Therion card. Discolosseum's a Therion card. Gets everything rolling. So, if you are in a position where you can go Menacing Mantis, dump the Lily Borea, Sargus with another 8, search your disc search. Oh, you wouldn't even have to search disc. Search another name, grab the lily out of grave with whatever, search your disc. The big unfair boss monster is Pep. Pep is a nightmare to deal with. Basically, you're looking at Lava Golem or Bust with this, or Sphere mode. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, it's unaffected. It's on a 3/5 body that is unaffected, that gets incrementally stronger in line with the difference of life points every battle phase. If nothing gets over 3/5 and it's your opponent's turn and they're going to battle phase, I would recommend you don't activate this, because they probably want to Kurikara them away. No, they're staying. If they have a Kaiju, bad news for them. They only get to Kaiju one thing. It is an asshole if you put two up, which is the goal. One, they can play through. They can get through. It doesn't do anything proactively on your opponent's turn. It's just a giant scary thing that they have to deal with. One, they can Kaiju. They can jump scare. They can do a whole bunch of stuff. But two's nice. We've got a Baron, because if we can put it out early, we probably should. We've got a Dragite, because if they've got a really key spell, then, you know, we can hit that. You have the options. We've got the very, I believe, German, because these just keep going up in price. The Photon Lord. If you can't afford this, don't stress. Like, this is a weirdly expensive extra deck. Baron and yeah, all the rest of this is very, very gettable, especially with the Pep reprints, which I am livid with because these are not reprints. I needed them for events. Yeah, these two make substitutions. There's stuff out there. Play like Hope Harbinger, so you can really hurt people's spells if you really want to. And I mean, technically, I don't know, like Azurine or the big Sword Soul guy. That's 10. Just have a look at your 10s. Failing that, you can probably cut out Reaper and Bull and just put some more 8s in, and you'll have more consistent access to your peps. These are really nice, though, because, again, we don't fear Nibiru when we have them. Breaking boards and going second is kind of a weird place, because you have access to a card that has the word send on it, which is broken and will out 9 out of 10 things. You have a card that, if your combo progresses enough, will just bounce their board away. Zeus needs no introductions. It'll just wipe the board. You could also do a pretty fun thing where, say you can't afford these. I don't know how expensive these are either, but I got them years ago, like circa 2020, which I can't believe is years ago. Get Pain Gainer, 7 Sins, throw your Dingesu out, go, send a card, Pain Gainer, blow the board up, 7 Sins, hit them for 4k, then you've got a 2-cent Zeus. So, they've got really good board breakers. Whether you get to them is another story, because they're not just things you can drop. If someone Bagooskas you, you're kind of boned. So, Dagger is really important. It's one of those where, like, probably every deck should be either playing Dagger or it'll probably end up being Little Knight, but you need a link out to Bagooska in a deck like this, where they can just slow you down to a grind and then just blitz you on the crackback because you've done nothing proactive. Speaking of, if we can't do anything proactive and absolutely everything is going wrong, and we need Therions in grave, and we've bricked on them in hand, but we've managed to get access to 2 8s, Zombie Vampire, mill a few, and hope you hit some. It is definitely a make or break with Zombie Vampire happening. I don't imagine you would use this proactively for anything. Yeah. I mean, if you can just throw it up at the end of your combo, I guess. But, yeah, literally, probably everything else you are looking to do with 8s is probably better. And you can't spam 8, so... Right. We will try to do a quick test hand and hope it goes half decent. The last time I did this, because this is the second time I recorded it, recording this, because we had some deck build issues. I drew like 3 E-tellies and it just popped off. Obviously, it's going to pop off if I draw 3 E-tellies. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I am definitely shuffled up correctly and that it's completely fair. And you know, we might just brick. It might just do nothing. You do get a few decision trees with this deck. It kind of makes it interesting. That should be more. So we've got Bull, we've got Imperm, we've got Imperm. We've got Regulus, and we've got Xiamen. That, Xiamen, is the only reason that this hand is playable. Otherwise, that would have been seriously rough. So, we're even going to get an early negate up, and what I'm going to do is just get rid of that sidebar, because we don't need it right now. The space is probably nice, so we'll move my keyboard as well. So, go ahead and normal Xiamen. Xiamen effect to add... I mean, if this gets interrupted, I don't know what to tell you, we're dead. But if it doesn't, this should be pretty good. Foxy Tune, discarding Bull to E-telly out. Where is he? Sharakusai. Now, do absolutely nothing, because they're probably thinking, I'll just hit the Rising Carp, everything's fine. No. We drew the Regulus. Equip the Bull to the Regulus. Zoning shouldn't be too much of an issue here, so it's fine. And we're now insulated. So, activate Sharakusai's effect. Summon the Rising Carp. Rising Carp effect to special the we'll go Wagon and Dino. Wagon effect, pay another 600 to get Extreme Session. We'll activate Extreme Session. Synchro these off, and this is probably first choice. You can go into a bunch of stuff, but it all probably results in you losing your onboard negate. So, playing it safe, I would go Jam Dragon Drive, effect of the Dino to bring back Wagon as Chainlink 2, and Chainlink 1 would be Jam Dragon Drive, meaning we get to search a level 3 Psychic. We can probably just go for deep drawing even more, so we'll actually get Madam Spider instead of the Ghost Ogre, just because we're greedy and don't fear any kind of punishment. So, you could have played that a couple of ways either way. Tom, do me a favour, put a life point calculator on screen if you can. I know we've paid like 12 so far. Oh no. 6, 12... 18. We've paid 18 because we are going to put some peps up. Anyway, that Chainlink 2 should have happened first. Really, doesn't matter which you're picking at this point, because let's be real, we're making a pep. So at this point, synchro these off for a pep number 1. We have done, I believe, 1. Oh no, we need to draw off Extreme Session. We haven't even done that. So before you synchro into pep, do remember to draw. We're going to go ahead and draw. Cross out. But at this point, with this much insulation, I probably would have wanted something else. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. We're going to use the effect of Extreme Session to banish the Sharakusai, to special the Madam Spider. We will go ahead and... We're not going to do that. We're going to activate Madam Spider. Grabbing the 3rd Imperm. Must be nice. We're already at a point where, like, we have 4 interruptions live, and they have a 6-card hand. So it's got to be something pretty good. You could flex into another pep, you lose your Regulus. Just got caught on that. Let's hold it off screen. We got an Ogre Dance. Fantastic. Yeah. At this point, you have kind of got 4 proactive disruptions, depending how you decide to get spicy with Crossout. Jesus, yeah. We're in a kind of sucky position where we're like 1 down on materials, so we're not hitting off the 2nd pep. If you want to be super greedy because you've got Crossout in your hand now, tribute off Madam Spider. Overlay these into... There's only ever going to be Sargus. Sargus, I believe, detaches, because we want that Regulus in grey. Okay. Not getting that Regulus engrave, which is sad. We'll Sargus to search disc anyway. Oh no. No, we won't. We'll Sargus to search Lily. We'll grab Lily. We'll Lily to equip Bull. Lily effect to grab disc. The Extreme Session, activate disc. What have we even got access to? Probably... I think it's Duke here. So, we'll get Duke. Big think, because we can make another 8. We can do another negate. I'm sure this detaches for a reason. Okay. Sargus has an interruption as well, so you can kind of... You've got a lot at this point. So... You can Duke equipping, like, Bull. Or any of the Psychics. To get Duke onto the field. So, let's just say we did that. And then we can overlay into our monster negate. Because we're not after sending anything, you know. Zombie vampire just feels bad here. So the equip would go to grave, whatever it was. Now you've got a monster negate. 1 Imperm, 2 Imperm, 3 Imperm, cross out. So if they're playing the mirror, they are boned. You can do some awful things with this. Very much not in English, so I'm going to struggle to do that. In this situation, you can detach from this to negate a monster effect, which will trigger Siders to blow something up, and you've got Pep. So at this point, if my pet eats Kaiju, I'm not too frustrated. Yeah, that's kind of what the deck do. It's fun, but I like with this deck profile, it's a little bit awkward because it looks like it just does insane things. But it is glass, and it is not. It's probably just a little bit below rogue at best. So don't buy all the expensive things unless you have them. Make do with what you've got if you're going to play this. If you just love it and you've got the funds, though, like, go right ahead. I really enjoy the deck. But I also had all the stuff already kind of there from other decks. So, you know, that's a pretty one. That is a shiny Punk card. So, Therion P.U.N.K, if we didn't have custom thumbnails, that'd be a pretty alright one. But yeah, go back to full screen. That is not full screen. That is full screen. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got the stuff to hand, it's more affordable than ever because of the Megatins. Everything's coming down in price pretty nicely on this deck. Hopefully after Rarity Collection and stuff like that, Baron and, you know, whatever else they may print that'd really help, will be much appreciated. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hit the bell icon, do all that good stuff. It really helps. If you have any suggestions, you know, drop them in the comments. Keep it constructive, and let's change the subject. I'm leaving.